Hello, everyone, and welcome to the second episode of the Go Live Lounge. I'm your host, GreedyBot. Thank you all very much for tuning in, and thank you all for watching the debut episode published about a little more than 2 months ago with Suspect Celery. Got some great feedback and some great reviews from it, so thank you all very much, and I hope that those who checked that out decide to check out Suspect's channel as well as a follower or subscriber, and also check out her additional social media content. Today, I wanted to take another step and talk to another streamer who's had just as much of an impact on the Twitch community and streaming community as well. Very effective in social media and has also been in on the ground floor of the launch of the Crouch Jump application that Suspect Celery has been in on as well. We are talking to Badsodagaming. Bad Soda, thank you very much for dropping in on this and agreeing to this recording. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me. I love it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I will say this, and it's not in any bias whatsoever, but the first couple that I've decided to speak to are streamers that I'm familiar with who have been following their content for a good amount of time. Soda, I believe I've been following your content for 10, 11 months at this point. And I just wanted to ask you, what made you want to really get started with streaming? How long have you been streaming, and what was your origin story like, more or less?
Okay, well, I'll start off how long. It's been about 3 years now that I've been streaming, which is crazy to me. Maybe want to start streaming is streamers like I used to watch streamers like Noah J, 456, and a couple other streamers who it just seemed like there was just so much community and just so much like interaction going on that it was just like, to me, it was like gaming on like another level, like gaming, but like you just look over and see like everybody cheering you on kind of thing. And it just like, I wanted that. That's what I set out to like have. Like, I really like, that's what got me like, I want to do Twitch.
Was their engagement, I'm not as familiar with their streams, but was their engagement something that you tried to mirror? I know that with your streams, it's a very interactive platform that you give. No matter how many people are in the room, you have a great attention to detail about getting everyone involved.
Yeah, at the base, definitely like that was like the model, like be as interactive, but like even more interactive, because even though like, and I don't know if it won't be as easy if I had the audience of the people that I was watching at the time to do this, but to like, to step forward to like play with the people in the chat and really get everybody engaged in the same lobbies, in the same events, the same thing, to like really like bridge that gap even more is something that I would say that like I kind of like built on from it. But for the most part, yeah, mirror that, make sure to pay attention to all the people, whether they're following, chatting, subbing, all the same level. It was just always seemed like the same level of just love, engagement, back and forth, that like really got me like to look into the platforms.
What kind of expectations when you did start streaming did you really have after getting involved in watching their streams and to where you are now? Like, when you started, what did you see as this becoming?
Well, at first, I would probably had the same idea that everybody did, that if you turn it on, people will just kind of watch. So the expectation was a little higher at first. But as I got into it and stuff like that, just to kind of like have a space for people to play in was the expectation. Like, after I started realizing exactly what it took to have the expectations I had in the beginning to work, like I felt like for a while I felt like, just baseline community and just like always have like that revolving door of people playing, having a place to play, looking for people to play with, new people being welcomed and being able to play was kind of like the new expectation that I had. And that's pretty much been the outlook so far going forward. My expectations now were hopefully to get a little bit bigger than that and get on that, 1% of Twitch 3 years into it. But that's kind of like how because it's changed my expectations, right? Because like I didn't know anything, and now I'm smarter, and I've been doing it for a little while, and I definitely have gone back and forth on what the expectation is. But the baseline expectation is just always having, as far as expecting, that revolving door of people to stay strong. And just kind of keep doing it.
Do you
If
feel
that
as
makes sense.
though, I'm sorry, do you feel as though your goals from when you started to now have adjusted in any way? And could you comment on how they may have adjusted?
Um, yeah, they definitely adjusted. I think that they're more realistic now and more straightforward. You know, the expectation before, of content creation was also of just, clipping your best snipes and stuff like that, but realizing like there's a lot of, the personality that goes into it and the entertainment that goes into it, like that's all changed. The outlook on that has all changed to where, you have a mind of while you're doing those things that like what to do to get that extra like giggle or laugh or, make yourself stand out from everybody else. Whereas like I feel like before me and a lot of people that first start out, they think that the best snipes with some music behind it is the expectation of content.
Yeah,
So I think that's the main thing that's changed for me, definitely.
yeah, absolutely. What do you see now or then as your challenges in streaming, and how do you go about addressing them?
The challenge that I think that everybody's gonna always face, even the bigger streamers, is keeping people interested. Like people will come by for a week or something like that, but if you're just doing the same thing all the time, there's people that like to play with you like all the time, but there's also people that want to see something more than that. And I think that that's the main, that's the main struggle for me, is keeping people wanting to keep clicking on me, when they see that notification pop up.
And I know that you're a streamer who goes hard with a schedule, a very aggressive schedule of 6 days a week, I believe.
Oh yeah.
How do you maintain your presence in the streaming community when you do take that time offline?
Well, the Discord's great. Discord is great. Not just the Discord, my Discord, but anybody watching Discord is great. That's the probably the strongest bridge, I would say, because it's just a chat room where everybody's always there and you're always commenting, and you're just kind of always in people's mind in that way. But social media, I still stay extremely current on social media, or at least I try to. Some days on Sundays I don't post, which is not recommended. But social media posts, engaging on social media, the stories and stuff, and just trying to pop in on people's streams and say what's up to everybody, and just make sure that you're kind of around in other places as much as those other people's who's hosting those places are in yours. I think that that's always, just keeping yourself in other people's eyes is
Absolutely.
always good.
I feel like it's always like a very even for larger streamers. I feel like there's a give and take that you try to give as much as possible as you take from other people when it's whether it's time, whether it's something more tangible like donations or whatever it is. I feel like in some way there is a give and take when it comes to streamers and their viewers. Even just social media interactions, something like that.
Right, exactly. um and of course I feel like I would be more, um like I would, if I was off more, because I'm only off one day, I would have more insight on that. But the main thing is being in other people's streams, I think, is the best way to keep your presence like going when you're on those off days. Because if you're in those streams and you're just, just engaging, like I feel like people don't realize that engaging is more like not just going in and putting exclamation point lurk, but sitting there, for it. It's worth a lot to sit for 20 minutes in a day and talk to somebody in their chat before you do that lurk command. Is something I really wanted to say about that.
Absolutely, and yeah, it's definitely something where if you're online, 6 to 8 hours a day, and you get somebody pops in for 20 to 40 minutes, and you get some real engagement there, I think it helps set tone for the others who may be in the room as well. Uh, when starting streaming, we talked about this before. How you said that it was more about just basically the good snipes with some nice music behind it. Do you think it's more important to find relevance when you start streaming, or is it more about finding your personality in the streaming community? And what do you think is the best first step with either one of those paths?
Well, I think it is all about finding yourself, and I think that as new games come out and trends change, everybody will find themselves in different ways. I think, see, that's a hard one because it's very good to use trends when you're first starting because it's a great way for exposure and stuff like that. But you have to still find where you stay true to yourself, which is hard to do when you're just starting out because you don't know even what is something that people want to really look at. You know what I mean? You just don't, or in the moment while you're playing and stuff like that, you just don't fully understand like, oh, I'm in the middle of like, while you're in the middle of those snipes, stuff like that, I'm in the middle of this clip. Let me spice it up a little bit. And that's something that it just comes from with experience. You know, I just think that the more that you clip and the more that you realize like what you're doing, you just know it works. But finding it a trend and where you fit in the niche, like the sub niches of the niche, I think that's the key, which is hard when you're starting out.
Do you think? Do you feel as though there's research that needs to be done by streamers before they go on this path, rather than just find the next big game and going with that?
Yeah. Um, so when it comes to the next big game and stuff like that, I think that that's the least big of problems. As I started with kind of a smaller niche game myself, um, but the research that I found is that like in that research you find that you need to build your own community in what you want to play. I think that the research is more important because that kind of gives you that education of knowing that it's not all about playing Fortnite or playing Warzone or playing the game that just came out this week, but it's more of how much fun you're having in that game and sharing it with other people, and that's what they're going to feed off of. That's how you're going to build your community. If you're just playing a game because it's popular, is worthless if you're not having fun in comparison to finding your spot and where you're having fun and what you excel at and sharing that with other people, which is what Twitch is. I think that's the reason why it became popular, because that's what it's all about.
Absolutely. What kind of things should streamers be doing before they really start getting going? Whether it's setting up their equipment, the research. What you talked about before, how you thought it was just basically going to be you hit the go live button and then things are going to happen. But what more should streamers be doing before they hit the go live?
Well, the number one thing, 100%, is social media, because you just gotta put yourself out there in people's faces. Like, you almost have to like hit the ground running and just post everywhere and just give it your all and just start posting like you've been posting for a year and like you have those followers already, because making yourself almost like a name is the number one thing. There's no discoverability on Twitch, as we all know. YouTube is great for discoverability, but as far as gaming content, it's very, very small. It's just, that's my number one thing as far as getting started, is just social media, build up a presence, hop in some streams, get a feel for how chat even is and stuff like that. And, Celery, did the same thing when she started. She got a really good Instagram following when she started out. I did the exact same thing. I don't think I started streaming until I had about 3,000 on Instagram's platform. I posted clips for a good almost a year before I even considered streaming. And I didn't even know that was the thing to do at the time, but it definitely helped me in comparison to seeing other people start off just from streaming. So that's my number one. I don't think that there's anything that's more important than utilizing social medias right now if you're going to just start streaming.
Talked about how you're a 6 day streamer, 1 day off. Thank you again for using that time to talk to me. Is there ever concern about burnout from an aggressive schedule? And if that concern ever comes up, how do you deal with that?
Well, the good thing about me is that I am addicted to video games. So playing video games for hours is already, I started kind of doing Twitch and justifying streaming so much is that if I'm going to play video games, I should be streaming them. Even if it's not optimal time, I feel like even if I get one person in those hours where there's not that many people in the stream, because everybody on the planet's streaming, and I've already been streaming for a couple hours, everybody already said hi to me. And those numbers go down because I understand that, and we have a community where we share, and it's awesome, and I love that other people are able to stream and share their stuff with other people because of that. So as long as I have like that one person coming by, I feel like I justify it, and I don't really fear for burnout. The only time I do get burnt out is when the game itself starts getting boring. So I fear for it when the game starts getting older, and there's no new content coming out, or this new season just started and we're 2 weeks in and I'm starting to look for stuff to do. That's where I feel that's where the burnout comes from for me, and that's what I fear, is kind of like getting bored of the game, and that's what people want to see me play, and I just don't enjoy it anymore, which hasn't happened yet, luckily. But and also it would be hard because I don't really have any other games that I enjoy, so it's not all about people watching. It's just I really do at the core enjoy playing these games for these hours and just playing with people and different people and stuff like that. So it's not too much of a concern for me yet, but I'm only 3 years in right now. I know a lot of people have gone harder than me for longer, so we're gonna see.
And obviously, the one thing we always hear about is that Twitch is just about streamers that just basically like to sit in front of TV or sit in front of the monitor and play games all day. What do you feel as though is the biggest misconception of you as a streamer, or maybe the streamer community, and how do you deal with that misconception?
I think the biggest misconception is like, I think that like something that a lot of the parents think and stuff like that is like you're just sitting upstairs, staring at the screen. But when it comes to Twitch and stuff like that and streaming, man, it's just so much more than that. It's like literally like you're staring into a window, not a screen, and there's just so much interaction and people. And like, I can honestly say at this point, I have more friends from Twitch and that are active in my life daily that live thousands of miles away from me that I've never even seen them in real life, because it's just it's a whole new world that it's a bigger world almost, especially in days with just quarantine and the sicknesses and things like that you just the crazy time, and you just literally are still able to connect to people, and it's amazing. And I think that's the number one thing that like even some kids you'll get the go outside comment on comments from I get like 16-year-olds and stuff like that go outside, and it's like it's not what it's cracked up to be. And it's just fun when you're younger, and you should go out and experience things. But in this day and age right now, I think that, it's important that kids have that, and that people have that, and that streamers have that and stuff like that. So I think the misconception is that like it's that small, because it's bigger than people think.
So the one thing I know is that with your community, there's a lot of co-op help, a lot of people that are willing to basically give honest advice. How do you feel as though you may have gotten advice from others before you started streaming? Was there anyone in particular that you spoke to? What kind of advice did you get from them before you decided to go live?
See, now this is the interesting, I all of the advice that I have preached here today, I've learned. To go into other streamers and stuff like that. I only watched big streamers when I first started, and I was very shy of trying to play with other streamers and stuff like that who were already established, because I felt like I wasn't established. I didn't want people to think that I was just trying to, kind of ride their wave, however big or small. And I think that was the number one mistake that I made, starting to stream, because I went in blind, and I only, I the only thing that I got that was good was from watching bigger streamers. Was what I was lucky enough to watch the ones that were engaged with their communities. Because if I was watching somebody who doesn't do that, I would have thought it was something completely different. I might have not even started streaming, because that's the whole reason why I did it, was for the community aspect of it. So.
And so I guess the thing would be is that if you were to look at the way that your course went before you started streaming, would the advice just be to put yourself out there with someone, ask for the help? I mean, would that be your advice for people that are getting ready to start streaming? Is that the pre-stream research you would talk about? I mean, maybe just put yourself out there, and if they're willing, if someone else is willing to help, that's more of a veteran. Maybe that's
Oh,
the thing that.
absolutely, absolutely. I think that like I said, I think that's my biggest mistake. And I feel like putting yourself out there and just getting into Discord communities, and you know asking for help and asking around, not going into Twitch streams and asking how to be a streamer, but, doing it at the appropriate times, getting into the chats and stuff like that, and really asking around and like not being afraid to, ask what this is all about, because you'll be surprised that there's so many people that just want to give you their settings. They want to give you the help. They want to show you where to get overlays because they're into this as much as you are, and they are just as normal people. We see people with that bigger view count. We think that, they all think that they're, this big, they're all normal people. There's some awesome people out there who are even, you find some people that are full of themselves, but for the most part, I've never really seen many people that turn down help at, somebody that's asking for help.
Absolutely. The last question I would have is, you talked about before how you have very high aspirations for your Twitch streams, your Twitch community, and your community as a whole, but you more personally. Do you have any other future goals that you have from this platform that you'd like to see accomplished in the next however many years? I mean, we're 3 years in now for your run. What else do you see as a possibility as a brass ring for yourself?
As of right now, just growth and just getting there. I want to get to YouTube, I think, is my thing right now. Twitch is all of our people over on Twitch are really great, and I want to try to do something with YouTube because I want a YouTube plaque. More than that purple check mark on Twitch, because I think I'm realizing that the purple check mark on Twitch really isn't something. It's not really a goal as much as it's a kind of like a cherry on top award, almost like a pat on the back. It's not really something to work towards, but something to just happen when you get to that point is something I'm starting to realize. And another thing that I want to do, that I've talked about a couple times, as I get bigger, is I want to do something for Chicago, charity wise or otherwise. All I know is that my city is just not in the best state, money wise, stuff like that, especially for education. And I've always said since I started that I want to do something for Chicago in that way, but I haven't found the opportunity yet. But that's probably like as far as brass ring, or like something that I want to do outside of myself. That'd be cool to do. That's something that I've always had on the back burner for when I get to the size where I could be like, hey guys, look over here at Chicago. We need some help. Just to be local, and do more, more charity things like that. But I just haven't, the opportunity just hasn't arisen yet, but I'm getting there.
I never knew about that, actually. Your interest in giving back with Chicago. Anything particular you want to go into now, or is everything just basically, generic just ideas in the head right now?
Well, it started off as the schooling. When I first started streaming, I know that hasn't gotten much worse since I started streaming, but the Chicago public school system is horrible. I went through Chicago public schools. We got art cut and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like, and just like things that I had. My art teacher actually was really great. It actually like helped me through some things, and I just feel like that stuff's important, man. And I saw Chance the Rapper able to give $1 million when that was going on. And I was just starting streaming, and I was just like, man, that'd be awesome to do something like that. That's probably one of the good guy goals, one of the first, pillars that I'd like to hit when I get there.
Yeah, something we learn is, as much as it would help to be in our bank accounts, sometimes it's better off in other people's bank accounts. Those who can actually help the world. Well, Soda, I want to thank you very much for taking the time to talk to me. Learned a lot from you with this interview, but also too watching your Twitch streams and basically seeing interactions. Feel free, anyone that's watching this, to give Bad Soda a follow at Badsodagaming on Twitch. You can also find him on the same handle from Instagram as well as Twitter. Any parting words you want to give for those who may be blessed to see you for the first time?
Just thanks for watching this interview. It was great, Gertie. I appreciate you having me as the second person on here, because I know that after the list gets long enough, it's gonna be a special one. So,
any recommendations are always taken. I want to thank everyone for watching this episode of the Go Live Lounge. Feel free to leave a like, a comment. If you want to subscribe, feel free. I will be posting links on my Twitter as well as my Instagram, and on my Twitch as well. And until next time, thank you all for tuning in. Be well and be safe. Thank you.